Today we have a horrible true story, a gruesome tale of mad scientists experimenting on living human brains, burning out entire sections of the mind to create an army of slaves built exclusively to do their bidding. This is a story about those experiments and the millions of innocent children whose lives were crippled by them. So let's start with some video, and I warn you, for those of you who are parents, this is going to be particularly hard to watch.
What are the first words of the U.S. Constitution?
Constitution. Like, I know this, but not right now. Of the people, for the people. Something about equal.
So if I'm going 30 miles per hour, how long does it take me to go 30 miles?
6, depends.
This is a math question.
It is a math question.
Repeat.
No, I don't like math
If
questions.
you're going 30 miles per hour, so how long does it take you to go 30 miles?
Yeah.
Well, if you're going 60, it just takes you 30 minutes, so I don't know.
What galaxy do we live in?
Yo, what? Earth.
How many planets are in our solar system?
A lot.
There's no planets in our solar system, right?
What is 5% out of 100?
20.
No, it's not.
It's 20.
20%.
20, 40, 60, 80, 100. 5% is 20.
No, I don't think that's right.
What causes tides?
I have no idea.
Like, what do you mean tides? Like water tides? Yeah. I don't know. The environment?
Wind. Wait, currents. I don't know.
Who won the Civil War?
I don't know.
Are you an American?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who won the Civil War? I don't know.
I don't know that question.
Who won the Civil War? Come on. Pop quiz.
We're not going to do this right now.
Some of those questions, they're irrelevant, so that doesn't mean I'm not smart.
Look, there are hundreds of these videos asking the most simple questions of college-aged young people, and thousands of blank looks and embarrassed laughter takes. But when you confront millennials about how little they know, you always get the same answer. You get it every time. If we need to know the answer, they'll say, well, just Google it. And, that's true, because it's the sum total right here of human knowledge, all of the answers to everything. Right here. This has been the dream of humans since humans became human, and here it is, answers to everything. Now, the problem with millennials is not that they don't know any answers. The problem is they don't know what questions to ask. Mark Twain said that the man who does not read has no advantage over the man who cannot read. Millennials don't know basic answers to the simplest questions because millennials can't read. They can't read. Yes, of course, they can decode English sentences, but that's not reading. Reading requires focus and concentration, hours and hours and hours of it. Young Americans are physically incapable of this. It's beyond their mental ability. Not their ability to understand it, but it's beyond their ability to undertake it. Now, Why Johnny Can't Read was an earth-shaking book published in 1955. That's 4 years before I was published. It was written by Rudolf Flesch, who discovered that American school kids, this is in 1955, remember, had suddenly experienced a dramatic drop in their reading comprehension scores. That's because the grandfathers of today's evil brain surgeons changed the way that kids were taught to read. They had a trendy new theory called look-say. Here's a word. Here's what that word means. Now go out there into the world and brute force memorize every single word you can by linking the word to the picture of the word. The first generation of liberal educators were basically forcing American kids to memorize hieroglyphics. And reading scores and attention spans and all the rest started to fall through the floor. So this very chic theory, look-say, very popular in teachers' staff rooms, destroyed the entire basis of language, and that basis is that letters represent sounds. If you'd been taught look-say and you came upon a word you'd never seen before, well, you'd have no way to understand how it sounded. So I went looking for a word that I'd never seen before, and here's what I came up with. Anfractuous. Turns out anfractuous means something that is winding or circuitous. I could immediately pronounce a word I'd never seen before because I knew what sounds the letters made, and this is called phonics. Teachers ditched phonics because phonics was old-fashioned, and phonics was old-fashioned because phonics works. If I'd learned to read through look-say, anfractuous would be as impenetrable as this word is. I can't make any sense out of this, because it's written in Cyrillic with many completely new letters and completely different sounds. But if I translate that same Russian word not into English, but just into the Latin alphabet that we use in English to make specific sounds, we get this word. Literatura. Turns out that Russian and English share many common roots, and the Russian word literatura sounds a lot like the English word literature, and that's exactly what the word means. Now, I could have just Googled the Russian word for literature, and as a matter of fact, that's exactly what I did. So millennials can get that far, but in order to explain why today's college kids are so shockingly ignorant, I had to show how left-wing professors had used them in their experiments on the human brain. To do that, I had to know about a book called Why Johnny Can't Read. I had to know what the word hieroglyphics means. I had to think through the process of demonstrating the catastrophic effects of look-say, which, along with new math and the self-esteem movement, were heartless and cruel experiments on the living brains of human children. Yes, millennials can easily Google the Russian word for literature, but they can't Google the information matrix necessary to realize a problem, analyze that problem, construct an illustration to clarify the problem, and then bring all of that together in order to make a point to try and solve the problem. And that point is simply this. Millennials did not ask for helicopter parents. They didn't ask to become laboratory specimens on which progressives could experiment. And they certainly didn't ask for an education system that kept depriving them year after year after year of the greatest gift that teachers and parents can bestow upon their children, and that is the gift of failure. Now, it was the boomers and the Gen Xers, not the millennials, who tried to put lifeguards and chain link fences around every single body of water in the country when what they should have been doing was teaching them how to swim. Johnny can't think because he was never taught how to think. And of all the questions I would Google if I were a millennial, the first question I would ask is, why?